Hey everybody, welcome back to Horton's Flower Farm. So in this video today, I want to talk to you about why flower farming is so expensive. So if you're looking to start a flower farm, you may be watching videos and people may be telling you flower farming is really expensive thing to start doing. There's a lot of investments that you don't think of, and why is it so expensive? So I'm going to go over the details with you, why it's so expensive, maybe the ways that you can save to make it not so expensive, but we're going to go over everything in this video, and I'm going to show you maybe how you can do it for a little bit less. Okay, so first thing is first, you're looking to start a flower farm, you need land. So if you don't already have land on your property, you are going to have to buy or lease or rent land. So this is actually a really big expense. So this could range anywhere for however much the acreage is to how much you're getting. So calculate that out, times it out, you'll see already right there, it starts to become expensive. If you are going to till your land and you need machinery, you probably know how expensive machinery can be. Even to rent machinery, it can be quite expensive. If you're looking to get a tractor or something like that, that's in the tens of thousands. So right there again for machinery, it's going to be really expensive. The next one is seeds and plugs and things like that and bulbs. Well, these things can be quite expensive, and probably on the most expensive end of all of these things are probably the bulbs and things like that. So if you're looking to grow tulips, if you're looking to grow daffodils, or even if you're looking for bare roots, like you want to start to grow peonies, or things like that, they can be quite expensive. So if you're looking to invest that way and say even hydrangea plants or something like that, that's a huge investment, and those things take time to mature. So that is another huge expense. Seeds are another expense. Even if you're just going to grow by seeds, they can be quite expensive. I've had my seed orders add up to $500, $700 on just an acre of land. Seeds is something also that's a big investment. Even if you're not investing in the tulips, seeds are a huge investment. Okay, next on my list of why it's so expensive is irrigation. So irrigation can go a couple of different ways. If you have to find, first off, if you don't have water on your land, you have to tap into the water, that is a huge expense. So I wouldn't even recommend that. Find a place that already has water to run, because you're still gonna have an expense to run irrigation through. If you're doing drip irrigation, it could be quite expensive to do the drip irrigation, to run the lines. If you're doing overhead watering, even that can be expensive because you're buying the hoses for it, you're buying timers, you're buying a really good stand that doesn't fall down all the time. You want something reliable, so that's another huge expense. Okay, next is something that maybe you're gonna do or maybe you're gonna pay to do, which is maintenance for your property. So if you're lucky enough to have a nice ride-on mower and you can mow the land and mow the acreage on it and have time, you can save money. But you're probably investing in a nice lawnmower, which can cost in the thousands. If you look at some of these lawnmowers, it could be like $3,000 to $5,000, which is huge. I pay to have my property mowed, and it actually does cost me around $3,000 for the season. So even though it would be a good investment for me, we're an hour away from our property and time is a constraint, so I have to pay that. So just the maintaining of the property, mowing, things like that, is expensive. Okay, the next thing, if you're gonna hire help, which a lot of people don't, but I recommend actually that you do, this is another expense. So I paid someone to weed my property last year, and it did become quite expensive to keep up. I'm a U-Pick flower farm, so I need that beautiful land. Everything has to be perfect. So my maintenance is a little bit more than if you just had your own flower farm. You didn't care that you have a couple weeds. I have to maintain it and make it look perfect. So paying someone to weed is an expense, and it's costly. So the next thing, which is kind of funny, which maybe you don't have as an expense, but I do as a U-Pick flower farm, is a porta potty. So my property is open to the public, which means people will be on the land and you need somewhere for them to go to the bathroom. So my porta potty costs me $250 a month. If you times that by 4 months, that's running me almost $1,000 just for a toilet on my property. And yes, you do need it. Customers want that. So it's just an expense I have to pay. Okay, so the next expense on my list is just supplies, and you'll see that this adds up. Just little things. Even I buy Dollar Tree scissors and I buy mason jars. These things add up in the hundreds and thousands. depending on how many customers you have. If you're having 50 people a week and the mason jars cost you $2 each, that's 100 times 14 weeks. You'll see how that goes, and we're already over $1,000. Again, it's like everywhere you turn is 1,000. So these are all expenses. If you want to wrap the bouquets and you need paper, tape, things like that, you want sticker logos, that's going to cost you money. It all costs money. Okay, so the next thing that costs money, if you're going to run a business and you want it to be a legitimate place, you have to have insurance. And insurance is important because if anybody's coming on your property and something happens, you want to make sure that you're covered and they're covered, and you don't want to be stuck. So insurance can cost you up to $1,000 a year. And this is something that's necessary. You don't want to be caught where somebody gets hurt and you're paying $1 million, $2 million. So it's just a necessity to have. Okay, so the next one, if you want to have a business and a flower farm and do some sales online, you need a website. Ugh, a website, right? The prices of building a website are expensive. The prices of maintaining a website, if you want to advertise for your website and your business, these prices go up and up and up. It's like cha-ching, cha-ching. So this is a business. If you're gonna run it like a business and you want a website, you're gonna have to pay for it. So these are expenses that just keep adding up. So as you're seeing, there's so many things that you don't really think about that add to this price tag of running a flower farm. So how can you do it for less? Let me go over it. So how can you run a flower farm for less without all of these expenses? The first thing I would say is start small. So starting small means just doing a couple variety of flowers, doing a couple of rows, put everything on a smaller scale. So everything we talked about on a smaller scale is going to cost you less money. Plus you're going to learn about what you're doing, what works, what doesn't. There's more room for error here because you're not going to be wasting so much money in the first year. You're going to see what works and you're going to see where you can be most profitable. So this means doing less ordering of seeds, it's less land, it's less irrigation, it's just less of everything. So if you want to start and not have this giant scale of all this money that I just talked about, you start small. I would really try and find land where you don't have to buy a huge property, lease it out. Start somewhere where you can grow maybe 200 feet of flowers. And I went over in one of my other videos how you can start on such a small scale that you can just sell 10 to 20 bouquets a week, make a really nice profit. And what I didn't say yet is that most farmers and businesses don't profit until after the third year. But if you start small, you can be profitable in your first year. And that's more than all these farmers are already not doing past their third year. They have to wait till their fourth year. You can do it in your first if you start out small. So I hope this was really helpful in helping you figure out why flower farming is so expensive and how you can do it for cheaper so that if you want to follow your dream, you can still start and it can be less expensive in the startup costs. All right, guys, I'll see you soon.